Hello, dear students. Hopefully, you will be enjoying your exam preparation. So, here in this video, I am going to share with you the reading text A and B that was available in Reading Insert in May June 2024 exam series in 2024. So, this is variant 2 of the paper. These are all the instructions. This insert contains the reading passages. You may annotate this insert and use the blank spaces for planning. Do not write your answers on the insert. So on this reading insert that contains text A and text B that you will have to read to solve your paper 1 reading, that is reading paper, you can annotate. If you focus on these words, means that you can underline any specific information, you can highlight, you can make notes on this insert paper, on this reading text. Sometime you will find some important points that you think might be helpful to produce the summary of the text or to give the answers of comprehension questions, or might be useful to answer the questions of use of language and its effect. So you can annotate, you can underline important words or any important information that you think is worth focusing. So what is this reading text A about? It was just released by Cambridge, I think, few days back. So I got it and thought that I should immediately share with all of my students who expect a lot from us and who are waiting for this recently conducted exam of May June 2024. So the reading text A that has been including in this reading insert, you will have to read text A and answer question 1 and question 2 on the question paper. So questions are available on the question paper and you have to give the answer on the question paper sheet. So what is this text all about? So the story in this text is actually a kitchen worker in an Italian palace becomes fascinated by the art of making ice confections under his strict master Ahmed. So, all right. So, despite Ahmed's reluctance to innovate, the worker secretly experiments at night, driven by a desire to create smoother, creamier ice cream rather than the traditional gritty ices. So, in reading text, keep in your mind the fact that for both of your papers, writing paper also includes a portion that will be weighed for the final grades. A portion is there for reading assessment as well. And in reading paper, it's all about reading. So the most important skill that you need to develop before appearing in exams is your ability to be successful in your wrestling with the words, as T.S. Eliot would call. You should also read the book How to Read a Book by Mortimer Adler, a famous writer. I think he was a student of John Ruskin and he studied under John Ruskin, University of Columbia, maybe. So you just need to develop and sharpen your mind on how to catch meanings of a text. So before reading insert, make sure that you have read the question paper and you have read all the questions in question 1 and question 2, that you will find the answers in this reading text A. So you will be more focused on to find the information that can be suitable to answer those particular questions. Let's read it now as I have shared with you summary. The person who is a servant who is working, a kitchen worker in an Italian palace, and he has to work with ice slabs actually. So you need to develop the skill to extract meaning from the text, to read it well in shortest possible time, but to understand it properly. So you need to practice through different pieces of text. Keep reading a wide range of text in English for both your reading and writing paper. So that's why here I'm sharing with this past paper reading text that you can read for practice. In this extract in this extract from a story set a long time ago in Italy, the writer has just started as a kitchen worker in a grand palace. One of his duties is to transport heavy blocks of ice from the ice house in the palace gardens to the kitchen. The first time I did this, the curiosity of playing with the frozen slabs, of seeing how they slid away from me like eels, how I could ride from down the slope, or best of all, shoot them at the kitchen wall from a distance and watch them shatter into jewel like shards, enchanted me so much that In a state of childish enthusiasm, I neglected my other duties. So there will be a short question in comprehension question paper as I have read. So be focused on this section. When Ahmed, my master, found me in the courtyard, surrounded by ruined ice blocks, he showed none of the displayer, which I knew my ill discipline warranted. Come with me, he said without expression. He took me to the ice house and ushered me in, apparently closing the door tight shut behind me. Inside, in pleasant contrast to the stifling heat outside, it was the temperature at which water becomes ice. Initially, though dressed in a thin shirt and short breeches, I stood congratulating myself on avoiding the task of cleaning up. After a few minutes, I began to shiver. The cold felt like a flame. A few more minutes, and I was shaking from the searing cold. My confidence crumbled. Feebly, I leaned against the door, which surprisingly swung open to reveal Ahmed waiting patiently outside. I never again played with the ice. Each night, exhausted, I crawled into the kitchen to sleep next to the huge open fireplace the cooks used to roast meats. The cooks grew used to me. I watched them as they worked, observing how they pureed fruits to intensify the flavors, how they extracted the perfumes of flowers to flavor creams and liqueurs. But when I suggested to Ahmed that we could use these techniques, he waved me away. We are engineers, not cooks, he would proclaim. Cooking is women's business. We know the secrets. We know the secrets of ice. Indeed, these were ancient secrets known to few, passed down within two families who supplied frozen ices to the royal court. Some of this knowledge was contained in stained leather bound notebooks, but most was kept only in Ahmed's head, in a set of rules he had no desire to question. To 5 measures of crushed ice, add 3, he would recite. Why, I would say, why what? Why must the ice be crushed? What does it matter? Stir the mixture clockwise. I had been working for Ahmed almost 2 years before I dared to ask what the ices we made tasted like. What does the taste matter to you, child? Answered Ahmed. Sir, I have seen how the cooks try their dishes as they make them. I think I will understand better how to make these ices if I know how they are meant to taste. We are making an ice flavored with a tempting syrup of small sweet oranges. Very well, Ahmed said casually. Try some. Before he could change his mind, I grabbed a spoon, scooping out a little and putting it to my lips. Ice crystals cracked and crunched against my teeth, dissolving on my tongue with a sparkling sensation. I gasped with delight, then pain, as the cold gripped my throat. I, I spluttered. Ahmed's lips, Ahmed's lips curled with amusement. Now perhaps you understand this is not a dish for us. We are here to entertain, boy. We are like singers or actors for the wealthy and the great. No one but them will ever be able to waste so much expense in something that melts to nothing. But once I would got over the initial strangeness, but once I had got over the initial strangeness, I found I could not forget that extraordinary flavor, nor the cold, frozen grittiness. It was as if the ice itself was enticing, daring me on. From then on, without Ahmed knowing, I tasted every ice confection we made. I sometimes wondered why Ahmed shared his knowledge so readily with me, but soon realized that to him I was simply a workhorse, a creature incapable of reason. He taught me what he knew, not because he wanted to share his secrets, but because he wanted to share the labor. And so I learned the subtle art of more complex water ices, sorbeti, in which the syrups themselves were frozen, transforming magically to mounds of glittering crystals, and sherbets, the most difficult and enchanting of all, expertly infused with fragrant cardamom and resembling refrozen snow. There were still secret special ingredients described in the notebooks which Ahmed kept to himself, to ensure that I would always know less than he did. If I suggested we try a new flavor, Ahmed would say flatly, It is not one of the flavors. Look in the book. He was taunting me, of course. He he knew I could not read, nor did I need to read it to know that only four flavors were all its ancient pages permitted. Our ices had another drawback too, that shooting pain, which came from biting down on them. I longed to make an ice that was smooth, soft, and creamy. Ice cream. So began a period in which I lived a double life. By day, I followed Emma's instructions dutifully, but by night, I was a kind of alchemist. The kitchen, my laboratory, as I experimented wildly, without method or purpose, trying increasingly outlandish and ridiculous combinations of flavors and ingredients. I froze soft cheeses, vegetable juices, even soups, hoping to chance on something, some method, some key, something that could unlock the deepest frozen secrets of ice cream. Then we have text B. So you will have to read the text B and answer question 3 on the question paper. That is about summary and then a 5 mark short question. So let's read this text B. In text B, there is Bob Hunter's authentic travel company that offers spotted group tours allowing travelers to experience local cultures without compromising on comfort. The company's success lies in balancing the authenticity of experiences with convenience. Despite the rise of similar offerings, Hunter remains skeptical of other companies' motives, emphasizing his focus on genuine travel experiences and future specialization in niche interests like food tours. So let's read this text completely. The Authentic Travel Company. When Australian Bob Hunter co founded Authentic Travel in 1989, offering smaller group tours abroad, the menu offered was less varied than it is today. He was the company's only guide. Thailand was its only destination. Yet the basic concept of travelers getting a genuine, real experience, as reflected in the name, proved a winner. Over the next decade, the company expanded into Southeast Asia and in 1998 went global. Today, Hunter oversees 1,300 local guides working in an impressive 130 countries. Despite his hectic workload, he has never stopped traveling for work. He had never stopped traveling for work, relaxation, and to continue exploring. We interviewed him to find out more. The first place I traveled to was the UK. After graduating from university in 1981, aged 21, I met a great friend, and afterwards we backpacked around a dozen different European countries. Do you know what backpacking is? Backpacking means that you have all your belonging and things in a bag on your shoulders when you are going on a tour or traveling. A dozen different European countries. I did not get to travel again until I was 27, when I spent 3 months traveling around Southeast Asia. It was then that I started thinking about all the people back in Australia who would enjoy backpacking overseas but worried about safety, so did not have the confidence to do it all by themselves. Organizing things like healthcare can also be tricky and time consuming, even for us as professionals. So I started exploring the idea of a more sported kind of backpacking, one which did not involve staying in the dingy, musty places travelers on foot might normally expect to be offered, but in hotels and guest houses that are clean and comfortable. But the moment those guests walked outside their hotel, they would still get to see what every other backpacker saw, a different culture, without being isolated from the local people and the realities of everyday life. Of course, there are some pluses to traveling solo, and so the schedule allows flexibility. Customers know that they can just join in with the group when they want. Yes, solo travelers do have ultimate flexibility and can change their travel plans instantly, but there are many travel activities for which you need a group of people. I first realized this when I was traveling in Borneo and discovered the only affordable way to go on a boat into the heart of the country was with a group. Attitudes to travel vary, but many people now realize there is so much more out there than sitting by a hotel pool. There is stuff going on outside the resort, and people want to experience it. That's what authentic travel has always been about. I did go on a cruise once to Antarctica. Yes, the wildlife was amazing, but cruising really only offers a taste of a destination. I notice more and more conventional travel companies are now trying to imitate us, saying busy city people crave real life. I'm not convinced those guys really mean it. They are just trying to cash in on this new trend of being a mindful traveler. Some of the destinations they are proposing to visit are really basic, completely off-grid with no reliable water or electricity supplies. It can be impossible to get online in those places, and mobile phones rarely work. I doubt many people will want to stay in these black hole resorts where the main attraction seems to be that you hand over your smartphone on arrival and do nothing for a week. Our future, I think, could be in developing our special interest travel experiences. The is there. For example, you can do a tour of railway lines in Europe, a bit extreme perhaps, but we also offer fabulous foodie trips, tasting and cooking lessons included, and understandably, they are providing popular. That's it. Here this text ends. Hopefully, we will soon upload the solved question paper with your answers as well. Stay connected with the Mud Online Academy. Thanks for watching.